going. We are live. Okay, guys, a little bit of music before we get together, and then you're going to jump in just a few minutes. So let me start with this happy song. Hello everybody, and as you can see, I'm still having Mercury retrograde issues. I'm one of those people who have always before in the shadow and after in the shadow. And of course I didn't bring the coffee, but luckily this is just around the corner here. Okay, my CATURDAY coffee is here, and let's see, now I can focus entirely on this. How is everybody? And Sapphie was here and I started to burn these things, and she just didn't like the smoke, so that noted that Madame doesn't like my cleaning the air, so I'm pretty sure she's going to come up later. So let me see. Hi Knitting Yogi, hi Sally, hi Creative Guru, Kylie. Oh my gosh, I have a crowd here already. Let's see what you say. University shut down at 5 yesterday for the rest of the semester. We are doing all classes online. The last 48 hours dealing with scared and confused people. Honestly, I'm thinking at this stage, because there is like, Of course, there is a real thing, don't get me wrong, and we need to be careful, but other than washing hands and not participating in a large group of people, basically that's all there is. I don't understand is buying toilet paper. Yesterday, the woman had a whole cart full of dog food, almost like as if we are preparing for the war or something, right? So, that's right, let's spread love. Ooh, and my cappuccino machine didn't warm up properly, so this is just a little bit lukewarm, so let me just put it in the microwave for a second, then I'll come back. I don't like lukewarm coffee, I like cold or hot. So since I'm so close to the kitchen and this is my dining room table where we are at, this is very convenient. So oh, Sapphie is doing something, she's chasing things, so I'm pretty sure she's going to come now that I'm not burning and I clean the air. So happy birthday to Pisces. Do you guys know that we are having Ides of March tomorrow? If anybody knows what it is, great, congratulations, but this is basically time to settle debts. So it's also assassination of Julius Caesar, which is more famous for. I dated somebody who was born on that day, and he was like an awful, awful person, it turned out to be. But I'm not saying that everybody who is born on that day is, because that really depends on so many things, including upbringing and including basically how you form as a person. But Pisces are still having a birthday this entire week, so happy birthday. My coffee is ready, as you can probably hear. And ta-da! Now I can, ooh, look at that. I have just discovered something, that if you put Americano in the microwave, it's going to start to foam. This is like amazing. Except probably change the structure of the coffee entirely. So who do I do first? Of course, I'm going to do Pisces. I think Barbie is going to join us later. She will be telling me if she doesn't show up, then I will do pick a card. So pick a card is very special for everybody who is here online, and so that way you can also ask the thing. Alchemist, this is not cool that you're coming to my live. How about you do yours? Because, you know, that's maybe we need to kind of report. And because if you report it, you're never going to get anywhere. This is really, really bad karma. Thanks, Kylie. I don't understand these people. This is literally a leech. Like, I mean, going and interfering with somebody else's labor, and I think somehow this is going to be beneficial. So all the negative vibes, you can send it to her. She's clearly not alchemist. She's not going to turn anything into gold. But for now, let's kind of like remove all this negativity from the air that we have outside. Okay, interestingly, Kylie, I just wanted to ask you, how is it in Australia? No major lockdowns in Australia, just banning large crowd gatherings, which, yeah, I don't know, banning is like a good idea. Honestly, I know I'm a little bit out there in the left field. I'm thinking they're just looking for a reason to close the borders, and this is fantastic way of doing it. So it's just a matter of time that we Canadians do it. I think Canada doesn't tend to be, xenophobic or whatever you want to call it. But you never know. This seems to be deadly. And for anybody who has a comorbid kind of like situation, such as any underlying condition, diabetes, older in age, that can be an issue. So I got this new tarot deck. I think it's called Radiant Wise Spirit. I have the Radiant Tarot basically from before. I really like the vibrancy. This is a little bit different. I did ask questions, how we will get along. It did say that we will get along well. So let's try it for the live reading. It's not easy to hold it in the hand. So it's not my favorite deck, but it's like I'm in rider weight over here. So you missed the troll. Well, maybe she was just basically saying, hey, my readings are posted and come and see my page. It is like freaking fantastic. On YouTube, you get banned for stuff like that. I mean, I just don't understand that you build your business leeching. Hi! Yeah, that's right. No more negativity. Yeah. How are you? How are you? Want to say hi to everybody online? Ringing good luck. Good morning, Heidi. Good morning, Heidi. Good morning, Heidi. So guys, we are going to decide. We're not getting virus. We are going to wash our hands, maybe a little bit more frenetically than before. I did manage to get alcohol, and I'm spraying with alcohol my kitchen, my surfaces, and keys. That's pretty much, I think, where most people will get it. My opinion. Again, not a medical doctor. You know how you pay, I don't know, in Australia most likely is the same, how you pay on a register and you have to put your numbers in. Everybody's touching those numbers. So this is really the best way to do it. So I'm literally fanatical. I even bought brought with me that one of those pens that you can touch it with, so I don't have to touch it. And I think each and every time so far I got it over there. So we are going to start with Pisces. Pisces, because it's your birthday, so we are going to do this. And you're having, woo, Nine of Pentacles and King of Pentacles. And it will be interesting to see if you see these cards well. Let me get one of those soda lights that I have over here. Maybe put them a little bit on the angle. I don't know if I need anything else in addition to it. Maybe Lenormand. Because I want to make these weekly readings relatively short and effective, so that way, you know, like, I mean, we can spend some time chit-chatting as well. Let me get one or two more. Okay. So Pisces, you may have planned a trip that seems to be canceled right now, and I guess that's kind of like, it could be that it was canceled on you as a result of all these mass panics that we are going through. I'm just trying to it's weird because I set the camera up properly and then I came online and it looks like for some reason it's catching a different angle over here, but hopefully it's going to get properly addressed. Now the ring is the last, and there is a King of Pentacles over here, and I really think ring, because the ring was reversed. And this is, to me, always a married dude, right? Oh, look at that. It's actually getting better, but it's still somehow distant. Weirdly. So, you know, I'm a little bit OCD. I have to fix it. Otherwise, you know, I'm not going to be able to sleep the rest of the week. I'm just kidding, but... let me try to set it. Sorry, Pisces, I know it's your birthday. You shouldn't be a part of all this messing up, but you just need to understand that I'm trying to do it right. So this is the only one that it's kind of like making me a little bit iffy over here, right? And you're hearing Tiger and Sapphie having playing in the background, because this card generally talks about somebody who's really confident in themselves, who actually really wants to be single. Look at her. She is in a garden. She's enjoying the bounty. She's like in this beautiful clothes. She doesn't look like that, hey, you know, I have to kind of get dressed and go and work. She has this little falcon. She is at peace even with the wildness of life, if you really wish, right? And she basically came to almost like the pinnacle of Pentacles on her own. The next stage would be Ten of Pentacles, which would then include family, and it's sort of like legacy. So I have achieved what I need to achieve. So tendency is like when you get in the situation that you really want to stay solo, you want to stay single, right, for one reason or another. And let me try to push it over here. For some reason it's cutting off. So King of Pentacles, on the other hand, is like that sturdy way. You're back? Do you love Pisces? What did you do? You're wet. Did you go in the bathtub? Did you go and swim? This dude is somebody who likes to own his or her own house. There's like somebody who likes to work because they understand this money can buy you many things in this 3D. So in that instance, I'm also picking up this could be two different people of some sort. So maybe one person is pushing toward getting married. Another person is saying, well, you know, let's hold and let's wait and whatnot. Oh, look at that. It seems to be perfect right now, except Sapphie is now fixing the cards. But did you maybe need to go on some kind of trip with this person? I mean, the ring reversed, it really tells me that situation is kind of like that you're really wondering how to go forward, because this is clearly commitment, and somebody feels pressured in that commitment. Somebody feels, hey, you know, I really want to say this, but I don't feel comfortable saying this. So hence, maybe there's like a little bit, let's say, fog in the air, because nobody's breaking up with anybody over here, because clearly, you know, somebody is hesitant in the situation, because this somebody feels, if I make a promise, I made a promise, this is it, this is promise for good, right? And these are like obviously obvious implications of marriage. Did you mess it up? And when this card shows up, there's like a hesitancy in making this promise for some kind of like a reason, right? But it could be that somebody's demanding, hey, we need to get engaged, we need to go to the next stage. And Sapphie, it's really, really difficult to work like this. She was like all over my face, in my face. Says, oh my God. So I really think you'll be dealing with this, but I also think that those of you who are hesitant will actually realize how strong and dependable the partner is, and how actually much you enjoy being in the situation. So I really think the decision is just simply delayed, not necessarily denied. So I really hope, Pisces, that, you know, like, you don't despair because some trip was canceled. This is not the worst thing, because it's going to also show how you're dealing with life challenges in this kind of situation, right? So it's something that happens from the outside that you cannot influence, and things kind of like just jump on you. Good morning, Barbie. Yes, the internet. Aren't you guys noticing that even though we quote unquote we're out of Mercury retrograde, it's just kind of like weird. Did I not tell you the last time that we are going to have a complete freak out over health because it was full moon in Virgo? And so it happened. My gosh, here in the first world war, first world country, we are acting as if we just won't have the food or something. Okay, so who do I do next? Now let's do before the signs that I kind of like tucked it away the last time, if I can remember. Because I did have King of Pentacles. Let's go with the leads. Let's go with the card leads. Coffee is amazing and hot. So I'm going to go with Taurus, because that's what showed up over there. So Taurus. And Taurus. I love being single. Heidi, I'm the same way. I didn't think it's going to be this way. I always thought I would be in a couple, but after the last breakup, I realized I need to take some time to heal, but unfortunately, this is turning into, oh my gosh, I really like this. Just yesterday, I was like out with a friend of mine, and she was telling me how she has to hide that she bought new shoes from her husband. And I'm thinking, I'm just shaking my head. I said, whoa, one more reason. Like, why couples do that? It was just like be so hard for me to kind of like negotiate and do the stuff like that. Oh, so we have the cards over here for my Taurus. And we have Two of Cups. Oh my gosh, so it looks like some Tauruses here might be actually connected with a Pisces, and this is where it led me, right? By the way, the next one will be Cancer. That is leading me to, let me get a Lenormand or two. So this is telling me that certain things are coming out in the open over here, guys. somebody really wants to get complete transparency, and in asking for complete transparency and just this commitment, so I can see that that's the same thing. It was King of Pentacles in the Pisces reading, which led me to choose Taurus as a result. I'm seeing here that there is some kind of struggle, that, I mean, this dude over here in 10 of Wands, and I hope you like this card. They're like really vibrant, right? So they show really well in camera. But look at him. He is carrying all of these burdens. He's carrying something. He cannot really see what's ahead because he is just having too much interference. So this maybe really reminds me when we have too much on our plate, when kind of like when we are in the situation and you know what should come first intellectually, but everything is coming, you know, like one of those days at work when everybody's stopping by your desk and then you realize, oh my gosh, I haven't done what I'm supposed to do. But when this reverses, it's basically saying, F it, I'm dropping everything, I need to deal with things right now. And you might be accused a little bit for not being romantic. Look, the gentleman and the ring. It could be that the man is having a trouble with committing and somebody's professing their love. And this card can also mean the Knight of Cups. When it reverses, it means, yes, as I said, somebody's being accused of not being romantic. But I also feel that because this is that proverbial knight in the shining armor, and this is what kind of like really most of us goes wrong, because we fall in love when somebody's really nice and at their best behavior, and then we have this brutal awakening, oh well, they're real people and they can be jerks kind of a thing, right? But this dude is like, when this reverses, this card is really telling me that yes, that's kind of like that awakening, that's the real person, and this romance, while it still may continue, is going to change format of some sort. So the gentleman is looking at the ring, so maybe the gentleman is thinking like somebody doesn't want to commit, or somebody's thinking about this commitment. Or I have a friend and he was dating this woman for 2 or 3 years. He's Pisces and she's Aquarius, and it's kind of weird that he finally decided to propose to her, and I don't know what happened. Oh yes, I know what happened. He bought a ring. I remembered, it was a while back. So he bought a ring, and that day when he wanted to propose, she kind of broke down just before he did it, and I don't know what he did it, and frankly I blame it on him. She broke down and she said, oh my god, and like, I mean, we have been together, I don't know, 2 years, and you have never shown incentive, etc, etc. So he decided to not to come forward because he felt we are not compatible. I said, well, so what stopped you of basically going forward and saying, hey, actually I did buy this, and this is maybe not the most romantic thing to kind of like go on my knee right now. He said, no, I didn't feel like it. So anyway, they are breaking up. Imagine 2 years of getting along, and then one day something is off, they're breaking up. So he met somebody else, and then he even ended up marrying this other woman. He ended up divorcing her, and these two of them again got together, and then she dumps him again. So it just goes to show that sometimes in life you need to take a chance, that opportunity is there, that the attraction is there, and don't always judge that moment, and that could be that crossroad where something takes us sideways. So if somebody is hesitant this week, you need to understand that this is a big commitment, this is a big obligation, and that's possibly a good sign that they're taking this very, very seriously, and that they are kind of like not going into that to betray you, but saying, look, if I commit, I will commit wholeheartedly. I'm not going to kind of like stray from it. So it's kind of like really important to look at it that way. So Cancer, you're next. So let's see, Cancer, where this leads us. And guys, please like. I'm seeing 14 people and only 7 likes. So it would be nice to know that at least you're saying hello, Miss Tarot. Cappy is over there. Good morning, Biljana. Oh, that's so cute. Libra loves everybody. Of course. So, Cancer. Cancer. Oh, nothing is jumping. Oh, talking about nothing is jumping, something is jumping. Huh. 2 concurrent cards. This one didn't exactly shift. So they're like something in the Cancerian world that is really talking about battle of the wills. Like here we see these people, technically in tarot teachings, they would represent people of different religions, but we are translating this, that can be people from all walks of life, or could be people in our life that are representing, you know, something that are representing, you know, different aspects and different kind of like walks of our lives. So usually when I see this card with somebody, I say to them, look, maybe you need to assert yourself. This is really interesting game, because this is a game after all. I do not see it as aggression, even though this can represent aggression, but look what happens after 5. One person emerges as a winner, right? So there is like this battle, and which dude is that? I think this guy here, that one that is suffering the most, right? He actually did manage to get crowned in the end, right? So now everybody else is a little bit envious of his prestige and so on and so forth. In the stage number 7, we are going to go back to similar situation as you have in 5, meaning you always have to fight in life for what you want, right? You always have to deal with this. So since this is reversed, it means that you actually technically have an enemy, that you have somebody who might say, okay, sure, you win, but they will not necessarily act this way, and they will probably undermine you. If this is talking about relationships, it kind of like it feels like something is off, something is odd. Some of you might be literally battling possibly a legal battle, and you might feel that you're on a receiving end, on a end of the stick, that short end of the stick that you're getting, and that somebody else is winning, but technically what is happening, they're not winning either. So you need to kind of like put this in perspective. There's like something going on, and that you really need to, you really need to kind of like establish your own boundaries. Interestingly enough, look at this coffin and the cross. In extreme readings, this can mean, and how did that again turn around? Like, and I didn't even touch it. In extreme readings, this can talk about somebody being imprisoned. In extreme readings, this can really talk about somebody just getting in such a heated argument that, you know, like, I mean, when you win an argument and you lose the point of what the argument was all about, and you lose this person, just like almost like my friend Lancelot actually did it with his girl, which I thought was fated relationship, and they got along so well. So this is really, really interesting to me, that this is karmic situation of some reason, for of some sort, and it's kind of weird. You're going to feel out of your element, and you're going to feel that the world is against you. Maybe this just simply means, I just want to curl up, I want to sleep, and everybody get lost, kind of a thing, because it's going to feel a little bit exhausting, and it's going to feel that you cannot deliver what others ask of you, or you're going to feel like, oh my gosh, I'm never good enough. So just buckle up, you know, this is just a week. It is something that you need to go through, so be careful how you behave. Try to not to be the one who is provoking. Try to not to be the winner, and try to have a consensus, because that means that you need to kind of like stop doing things the way that you used to deal with things. So it's kind of like one of those shifts in kind of like perception, shifts in how you deal with things. So it is kind of like important. And so, which means I'll probably go into Aries next. So I'm writing this for Barbie so I can send her this later. And Aries, let me have a sip of coffee, Aries, before I start to shuffle. So Aries, you must be preparing for your birthday. I'm already like picking up on this like big ramp up. Do we have any Aries in the house? Oh my goodness. We do have spirit guides coming through. Oh my goodness, what lovely reading you guys have. So you have, let's put it this way. You have Six of Swords. So it could have been a hurdle that you had to deal with. It could have been even that you technically need to move or move out of situation or finish a situation, or there was an agreement about going in a new direction and this new direction has been very promising. You kind of like don't know if you're going to kind of like benefit out of it, but there's clearly a hope. And that hope, look at this, you're going from 1 to 9. You guys, I guess being Aries, nothing is done in moderation if you're born in that sign. You just go from 0 to 100 in a second. When you want something, you want something, you want something now. And this is usually the best and the worst of you, right? Because for the situations where this like kind of like swift action is needed, this is absolutely lovely. But for the situations or dealing with people who are not used to having a kind of pedal to the ground, right? That can be scary. But you are clearly domineering the situation. You're going from 1 to 9. It's all or nothing. There's like somebody new that you might be meeting. Maybe you're out of one thing and you were like maybe obsessing about this one thing, but you knew it is a time to move on. But having said that, it looks to me like with the Emperor, which is basically your card, which is kind of like feeling completely in control. Look at those beautiful rams over here, sitting here. You know what you want. You are not going to negotiate this. And I really think this whole week is about resolving some, let's say, emotional issues. Even though this dude in nines, dudes in nines, generally they want to be on their own. And this really tells me that maybe you had to process and analyze certain things. And now they seem to be processed and they seem to be analyzed. It is also reaching some balance. If you guys had legal issues and you're going through lawsuits, then this week could be really victorious for you, right? Nines are generally talking about the pinnacle of our success, and it's really interesting. Look at him. He is guarding himself. And in the other decks, and I think in regular Rider-Waite, it's really interesting. He doesn't look like in the regular deck. And I don't have any regular weight next to me because that dude looks very smirky in the other decks, but here he doesn't. Here he looks nice and smiley, except that he has these arms crossed. And meaning kind of like, don't mess with me. I am comfortable where I am. These are my cups. It's almost like a showcase. But it almost like tells me that you guys are very happy with what you can show for. Maybe you are reaching emotional balance. Yeah, maybe there's like something that is going on and it's home oriented, because look, the gentleman, the fact it showed up, you can talk about the men in your life, or you know, something. Some of you might be buying a house, some of you might be moving in, but there is like clearly, I don't know if you can see the little crescent moon over here, there's like a huge emotional component that is going to be included in all of this, right? This clearly, to me, it feels like that you are ready emotionally, and you are ready strategically to move to the next phase of your life. And I don't care if you're single or if you're with somebody. This gentleman can simply talk about masculine part of you, which Aries is a masculine sign, which means if you don't feel masculine, even if you're a woman, it doesn't mean that you have to have a mustache or big muscles. It simply means that you're like really assertive, you really know what you want. Then this actually means that you are finding the ground, you're finding who you are. Maybe, you know, something went sideways and you just like felt that you have lost your mojo, but this is changing everything. And this is going to be a lovely week. You're going to feel like you're in the zone, and it's going to be a really, really, really good feeling. So good going, Aries. Aries rising, Kylie, it's going to be absolutely freaking superb. I really like when Mars comes in Aquarius, because that's when I can get a taste of basically Aries, and it really feels good being this extra assertive and almost like demanding what you want, and not even questioning that they might say no. It just, I want this, kind of like when this confidence is intact. So I need to go into Scorpio because that's where I was led to believe with this card. So my dear Scorpio, let's start with you next, and a sip of a coffee. And that's okay, Creative Guru, too. Like a milk mustache. Scorpio, let's see what we have. I actually have a mustache right now from my coffee. Oh my goodness, the cards are just jumping today. I don't have to pull anything. And also 4 cards. We have King of Pentacles. Well, we have your card. We have the Star, and we have the Lovers. Oh my God. This is going to be also monumental. So there is some kind of commitment that is happening. There's transitioning, and there is like a transitioning into hope and commitment again. Let me just get Lenormand. This 3 majors for a weekly reading. I don't know what to say. Is somebody going to propose somebody? Is something going to turn around? Is something on a trajectory? Yeah, look at this. They're like this crossroads, just like a death card. Death card, which is your card, so it's not as significant when it shows up for you. It just basically is affirmation. Yes, you're on the right path, right? Like when you're driving on a highway and you just keep seeing the signs that you are going in the proper direction. That's what basically happens when your own card shows up basically in reading for your sign, right? But you have the influence of air over here. You have Aquarius, you have Gemini, and so the key is going to be in choices, because the Lovers card is also about the crossroads. This is almost like identical card over here. There is choice that has to be made, but when it kind of like comes upright, it means something that you love. You will choose something you love or somebody you love. And this is talking about the darkness, and then there is like the sunshine coming through over here. And while some people are shredding at kind of like, look at this guy's like crying and faces in the palms, the other one is looking and praying, but the child is looking, like one is looking away and the other one is like just really intrigued with what's going on, because it's the card of transformation of some sort. It really tells me about also that maybe you're like financially reassessing yourself, in which kind of like corner you want to sit and how you want to do, and you're going to change the way of how you do it. This also could mean buying a house with a key over here, or coming up with a different strategic plan. But since you have lots of air over here, this also is telling me that there's like a lots of analysis going through it, that the 8 stars that we have here with one really big star, it always talks about transparency. It always talks about commitment. It's kind of weird that you have these naked figures, and there's only one more, which is the sun, where you have a naked child, right? So we have a woman, we have a couple, and then we will have a child. So it's maybe talking about, for you, finding your own truth and speaking your own truth to the partner, and not being afraid of doing that, not being afraid to verbally express what you feel, because clearly you're feeling in your element, you're feeling you're on the right path, you're feeling you're going somewhere, but you also want not so much assurance, you want to state your case. There is a different thing when you're approaching conversation, well, what do you think, should we do this, and I feel this way. And it's going to be just like that. You're going to have this sense of you knowing where you're going, of sense of direction, sense of future. This to me is my favorite card, not because it represents Aquarius, well, that too, but it's the ultimate card that comes after the Tower moment. Tower moment is, oh boy, I had Tower moment so many times on the Tower Day that we had last week. So this, after this destruction of the tower, where everything is like burning and upside down, you know, the fool is just crying and is saying, well, you know, why would they even continue on this path? For which reason? Look, it's just getting freaking worse as I go forward. And then he sees this beautiful woman carrying these 2 urns and saying, here's water. We are going to remove all this burn. She's pouring this water. Everything is starting to grow. She says, you need to eat. You need to relax. You need to sleep. You need to drink this water. So she's taking care of full and making sure he's well. And finally he's seeing things differently, and he's looking at everything, how everything is like so brilliant and growing. But she's telling him, look, you always need to have faith. Without faith, you have nothing, absolutely nothing. So at this stage, because he's comfortable and he doesn't feel that pressure of this destruction around him, and we tend to always feel this way, right? He is just going back to his food and to his enjoyments of this kind of like world, because I also see this here in King of Pentacles. He's not realizing that she is fading away. And by the time he did realize that, and he did realize that she's turning into this star in the sky, he said, come on, don't go away. I'm sorry, I didn't pay attention to you. Come on, come back. She said, no worries. I'm always with you. You just need to follow your own star. And I think that's what's happening here. Some of you here might be dealing with Geminis this particular week, or with Aquarius, even though I think this is more like metaphorical over here. And you will find certain ways in order how to push things forward. And this can be a week of commitment, or this can be a week of the choices that you make will be really the right choices. So since we have the star over here, then let's go to Aquarius next. You can hear Tiger drinking. Yeah, slap. Like my microphone is like so good, it is picking up on everything. So he is doing well to some extent. He's toning down a little bit. I do have to say that he's a very stressful dog. He's not one of those doggos that you can let off the leash and he'll be just friendly. Nope, he's going to bark and attack and freak out. And so something has happened in his upbringing because his sister is behaving the same way. So go figure, right? But he is a lovely dog, right? I mean, if he knows you when he's relaxed, when he's at home, when he loves you, like me or Sapphie, oh my God, like, I mean, he is just not going to stop telling you how much he loves you. But he's also a very jealous dog, being a Scorpio. So 2 days ago I was out in a park and I wanted to give him treat, and of course to all the dogs, he started to attack the other dogs. How did they dare to take his treats? So what can I tell you? I hope this is going to go down, but if not, we'll have to just deal with that for the rest of his little furball life. So Aquarius, you're next. Aquarius, he's a Scorpio, yeah. Yeah, it is funny. It is funny. So let's see if the furball Sapphie comes. She is she's Aquarius. So Aquarius, what do we have here? We have 2 of Cups, then we have 8 of Pentacles, then we have Ace of Cups, and then we have 2 of Pentacles. It's going to be lots of things that we need to work with, juggle with this particular week, but the devil is in the detail, I would say. It might be that we get results, but they're not full, they're rather partial, or they're like just maybe a new beginning, given something that we have done. Let me just get this. Yeah, he has his Instagram, if you guys ever want to follow, if you want to see how he's doing, because I put these funny pictures there. Here, going to put it's Tiger Dogo with 1 G because the other one was taken. So I put some pictures of his little adventures over there, but he's clearly a very strong personality. You know, sometimes you have the doggos that have no personality. Not this one. But nothing is coming for Aquarius. So the birds and the garden. Well, clearly Aquarians are getting a little bit in a panic mode about coronavirus, because the garden is usually about lots of gatherings and kind of meeting with people and being exposed to that. Check this out. Check this out, because this pixie Lenormand is made to basically replicate tarot. So tarot, they're combining clearly 10 of pentacles over here, and as you can see, Ace of Cups, right? So that's where the motivation was. And it's absolutely amazing over here that we have like these two cards coming together. So it clearly shows to me, which this would be Aquarian card, where we are actually better in groups than one-on-one, but this came reversed. So it feels like that we will really have to work one-on-one, or we'll kind of like to isolate. It kind of like does feel a little bit of solitary over here. And it's kind of weird. It can be a little bit of communication, because the birds could also mean like Two of Cups, but it was reversed. But the birds can also talk about gossip and nonsense that sometimes come forward. So this can both talk about love life, but it can talk about work life. It can talk about contracts and commitments and somehow going in a new direction. But look at this, we have the 2s and 1s, right? So I really think there's like some transformation that is going to be taking place this particular week. I really think that Aquarians have been possibly stuck in a situation, and lots of things were coming in the way. Generally, interestingly enough, this card is more or less focusing on this flow. And lots of things in life got in a way. So right now it almost looks like that we are making a decision that we're going to tackle one thing at a time, instead of going laterally and just trying to lift everything at the same time, and everything is just lifting so much because you have to spread yourself very thin. It looks to me it's going to be focused. Let's just do one thing, and it's going to be with what do I like to do, not what I have to do, because what I have to do actually makes more sense, especially to our logical mind. But we do not have too much of a logical mind over here, right? We are really dealing with tasks. We are kind of accomplishing our tasks over here and making sure everything is like done in place. So maybe somebody's going to try to take us off our own tracks, off our own path, and this balancing of the things and understanding this is how we have to do it. It's going to be our own resolution how we want to do it. So if you guys meet somebody, it's going to be really interesting. It's going to go in a really weird direction. And that's kind of like very usual for Aquarians. Something starts, something is very romantic, and then almost looks like there is like silence. And nobody knows how to read it. And maybe things are getting in the way in Aquarian life. Like maybe you need to postpone the date. Maybe they need to postpone the date. As a result of that, you're wondering what is going on. Is this person somehow, ignoring you? You might be dealing with Virgo. So Virgo might be next sign that I'm going to take it, or Virgo-like attitude. So this full moon of Virgo, I think, is still resonating. There's like something that needs to be shed, and something really needs to be exposed, or you need to let go of certain, complications. So I also feel, that's what I said, coronavirus is present over here, because the tendency that we have to be in the masses and groups need to be curbed, and that's what I see happening over here. But nonetheless, it's a juggling act, and as a part of the juggling act, things are going to work out, and it all is going to kind of end well. So just keep doing what you're doing. The devil is in the detail over here for Aquas, so it's a good thing to keep in mind. Good thing to keep in mind. So, and also Aquarians are going to be a little bit health oriented, which is not necessarily how Aquarians react, but that's what I saw in the cards. So Virgos, you're next. So let's see. Virgo, you just had this full moon, which messed up every other sign, messed up the world. It declared pandemic. Of course, this happened under full moon in Virgo. It will happen just under full moon in Virgo or during Virgo transit, because you are like bringing attention. This is what we need to do. This is how we have to deal with this. And this is the proper way of doing things. So I really think that was kind of like this major vibration that we actually got through, right? So let's see. Oh, needing the Virgo with Aquarius rising. Interesting combination. Let me just get a little sip over here. And I got a bundle over here. So you have 10 of Cups, you have King of Wands, you have the World, you have Queen of Swords, and you have the Sun reversed. The Mice and the Lilies. So where do I start over here? These are final stages of something. So through Virgo, we can also get reading about this pandemic. I really think this is something coming from the past, resurfacing. The lilies can talk about sexuality. The lilies can also talk about health. But lilies also talk about damage to aging, damage to aging. Sorry, the mice is talking to damage and lilies is talking about aging. So that can talk about that. Why are the children involved here? This could be family of some sort. Okay, short of this is that you're having one karma card over here, which is the World. And you have this fixed sign. You have Leo, you have Taurus, you have Aquarius, and you have a Scorpio. You might be dealing with those signs. You might be dealing in particular with air signs, with fire signs, or with water signs that can be of some kind of significance to you. You might be dealing with mitigating some kind of damage. You might be in courts. You might be going through some kind of mediation or some kind of compromise or, you know, process at work of some sort, right? I am getting lots of messages. This is telling me I'm going to have lots of different Virgos over here to kind of like deal with that. Then we have like these two Leos kind of things. The pride is really, really important, that somebody really wants to feel successful. And you kind of like want to win it all, not just a little bit, right? And it's like something that kind of like really is affecting your well-being. It's starting like right with the Big Bang. There's like this 10 of Cups coming through. Everybody's freaking happy here. It's a happy family. It's the river flowing. The kids are playing. It's kind of like that idyllic picture that he's looking at. There's like somebody in your life who is possibly looking at you and saying, you are the choice, you are who I want, and like with you, you are my world, kind of thing, literally, right? Because this really, really looks good, and neither of them, I think it's you, and I really think this is looking at it. But I really also think that somebody else is coming with a baggage, and it could be a child. It could be that person is still not divorced yet, and maybe this is basically talking about this person's divorce, who's going to take possibly a big financial hit as well, right? Or, I mean, the Queen of Swords is a good thing over here. Or this can actually even represent you, because Queen of Swords sometimes says, it's enough, it's enough. She's actually very gentle. She has a bad rep, but she has a bad rep because when she makes decisions, this is it. It's not negotiation, any kind of kind. But if you kind of like really look at the card closely, look at how gently she's raising this arm. And she's saying, well, I really hope I will not need to use this freaking sword. How about we just do it kind of like gently, right? But then again, I have these lilies, which is that aging and wisdom. It could be, again, also family kind of like issue. Maybe you're having some, this can also talk about inheritance, guys. And it's generally talking about winter, which clearly this is the last week of winter in the northern hemisphere, right? So if you are looking in this reading to ask something about the older family members, that's what I said, inheritance. It could be somebody passing something on for some reason. There is like some kind of success that I absolutely see here that will be happening, but it's going to be really slow to come. You might be also dealing with somebody who is older than you, or it could be boss, it could be a romantic interest, but this can also talk about that old flame is returning of some sort, and this could be even old flame that maybe you have a child with of some sort, right? That clearly can talk about that. So also tells me that maybe this week you'll be looking for opinions of guru or not so much church member, like therapist or older family member, something like that is going to be really important for you. And also this can mean that somebody's asking for blessing from the family in order to move forward, because this card is the ending and the beginning at the same time, where one phase comes to an end and then another one starts, which could mean, for example, announcement of the pregnancy, or moving in together, or introducing somebody to the family, kind of like that sort of things, right? So I am doing Leo next as a result over here. So let's do Leo 50, and then after that we're going to do pick a card, because Barbie didn't raise her sword and told me about it, but since I wrote this for Leo, we are going to do it next. So Leo, it's lots of juggling things for you. Maybe you have lots of things on your burner. It's kind of interesting. We had it for Aquarius, and Aquarius and Leo are on the same axis. You need to understand usually that the opposite side is also you. It's just your shadow side. It's like the dark side of the moon, if you wish. Oh, by the way, do you know that we have a second moon spinning around the planet? You've probably seen it. It's very tiny, but nonetheless, apparently it's temporarily, because it's going to dissolve in space. But so far, now we have 2 moons. And they didn't take that maybe it's going to stick other stuff on it and maybe get bigger. So why not look at this way? I don't know, Leos, are you dealing with Geminis of some sort, and you are feeling a little bit beat? You feel like, oh my god, I'm tired of everything. This is not very typical for Leos, I really have to say. We have 2 twos over here, and I've seen the same in Aquarians. Remember, we had this kind of like also 2 of Cups. We have 2 of Wands. With 2 of Wands, it's kind of like better for you. And it is about a situation that maybe is a standstill, maybe some kind of like impasse, kind of like feeling down. And 10 of Swords, yeah, it doesn't look good, it doesn't feel good, but it's one of those things where maybe you need a good cry this week, and clearly the day is coming. The things are going to be shown. And also, I think they actually this is not the original painting now from what I'm seeing. I mean, he does have like these 2 fingers crossed, and it is something about marriage. It is something about, I mean, it's the Hierophant kind of a thing, right? That he's pointing back and saying, this is where the betrayal happened, and this is where I got stuck. Maybe there was like a point in your life that you still need to cut the cords. And if you guys are not my client, and then you don't have the cut the cords meditation, which I usually send after certain readings. So if you're not my client, and if you're Leo, just send me an email that you want me to send you this cut the cords meditation, and I will, free of charge. Because there is like a need for you to get unstuck. There is a need for you to start looking in different directions. So here it is, like just too much interference, too many things happening, you're tired, you're exhausted, but then you're coming back, you're getting this footing, and you're like understanding, look at this one of those wands is stuck. It's kind of like built into this wall. It represents something old, but he is turning his back to this old. And this other wand, he actually managed to unstuck. So there is like this sense of moving forward, and he's looking in a distance and holding this globe, and he's saying, what kind of world I want to build for myself. Nonetheless, you'll still feel a little stuck this week, but you're going to also feel, you're going to find that piece of you that was missing. You're going to find this piece that was saying, hey, you know what, you cannot do it, or you're too tired to do it, you don't want to move it, put any reason for why you're not doing something. And this week you're going to start, toward the end of the week, having a little bit different attitude. It's almost going to be a little bit of that Sagittarian attitude, where it's going to feel like, hey, you know what, I really need to start getting up, otherwise I'm knocked out. And usually Sagittarians are really known for it, right? And it's kind of like that feeling of getting through things. So it almost looks to me that you really need to understand that you're really not as bad off as maybe you think you are. Could be some gossip in the house. Maybe this is what is dragging you down. Maybe your family is getting on your nerves, or some reason. Like, it looks like you might be really irritable. I'll be very honest with you. And given that, like, I mean, there's also hiding tower over here in the reading, but it's more or less connecting to your home, and your home can be literally home where you live, that you might actually have arguments with people who live there, or it can be the home, the other home, which could be our friends, which could be our work. So be very careful. You're going to feel that somebody's against you, and probably you're right, but the solution is not going in a war with them. Solution is not, there is some gossiping, like, right, the birds is generally the gossipy card. In some of the decks, they're calling them owls, and owls is a little bit more elegant, right? But the birds is kind of like that conversation of some sort, and usually can talk about phone calls with siblings and so on and so forth, right? But you know, they get together, if you see two birds in the nature, and kind of like chirp to each other. But I saw Discovery Channel, and they're saying basically what we think, oh, it's so pretty, they're chirping. They're basically saying to each other, F off, F off, F off. This is all about establishing like your own basically space in the pack, if you wish, right? So you need to be prepared for lots of communication. It could be phone calls, it could be verbal or electronic, and it could be really long conversation. You might be even considering about the direction where you are taking things, and even including maybe moving to different place, moving out of the home, and that's going to be really important, right? So I also think, guys, that, you know, if this is a relationship, that you will have that back and forth in how you kind of like deal with this. And we are entering, the Jupiter is entering Aquarius, which is again the same axis on the 21st. So this is like something that will be from the 18th for you to 26th. It's going to be really area of your life that is going to create a big shift. So keep that in mind. Okay, so hopefully this helps. I don't understand what is the order. Amo, I don't understand the question. So I think I know what the Aquarius is reading about. I just learned my karma be person got fired from his job, is under investigation. There you go. So that was possibly the message. So now what I'm going to do, we are going to do pick a card. Let me just put this here. Pick a card. I'm going to block this out so you cannot see my shuffling cards. You guys ask yourself, ask a question, more or less to be yes or no, and I'm going to try to answer it in a generic way. And if that really didn't clarify that for you because you're like on live, I'm giving the special bonus to everybody who is on live. If you feel comfortable sharing your questions, or at least kind of like in this area what you think, I will give you specific direction. So let's do it. There will be 3 different cards on the table and call them doors. So there's the first one that jumped out. Oops, there's a second one and the third one. Interestingly, the third one jumped on the first one. Let me just get one more clarification for the third one. What was this all about? Alrighty, so let me remove this and go back. So who picked what? I'm going to have a sip of a coffee. Okay, Liz, number 3. I've seen them all because they all jump on the face, so I cannot even make that decision for myself. So number 1, door number 1, door number 2, and door number 3, left, center, and right. So let's go. If you guys picked door number 1, then the card you got is the devil. So if it was a yes or no question, the answer is yes. You're going to get what you want. But you know what they also say, beware what you wish for, you might get it. The devil card means it can be some kind of indulgence behind this question. It could be some kind of like self-coddling. And it could be that you're not asking for the best possible solution that will be universal solution, but nonetheless this wish is going to come true. So be aware of the karmic consequences, right, that can actually be affected over here. Did anybody here pick number 1? So be careful. Also, this can mean something as simple as over drinking, don't drink and drive kind of a thing, right? Be careful about stuff like that, right? So you might want, your wish may have been, well, will I go out with so-and-so? And the answer is yes, but then you might have a car accident while you're out. You see, kind of like that kind of like stuff that happens, right? So careful on 1, so that take 1 and 3, okay? So let's see, number 2, guys, is, whoa, 10 of Pentacles. 10 of Pentacles also yes, but it also feels that you are making a very thoughtful decision, or somebody's making thoughtful decision. Maybe the question is involving your family of some sort, or family of some sort, and this is really talking about things need to make sense, and when they make sense they are going to move forward. So if you need to say something or do something that will help the other party kind of like understand, it's kind of, it's a good deal, it's good to go. I mean, for example, even this can apply to work, that you want something and you did put your wishes out, or maybe you didn't put your wishes out, but in any case you need to do that. You need to do it in a way to help the other person make a decision. So here I had this card come first, and it kind of like jumped over here a little bit, which is rubbing off on this devil energy, right? So it is a 2 of Cups reversed. There's like some issue here. There's like not a meeting of the mind, and I clarified that. And the reason why it isn't, it's not because somebody is really rejecting you, which you might kind of, that's going to be a read, but they're literally, their hands are tied, as we can see in this particular deck. There's like something that cannot happen. Maybe there's somebody who is going through a legal process. It could be telling me that maybe somebody needs to finish one relationship before they go with you, and they don't want to sit on 2 chairs, which is actually good, except we want things to be rushed and we want things to happen on our times. But there's like something in the process, something is ongoing that needs to reach its end, and it is heading toward the end. But as a result of that, you might feel a little bit unwanted. So this is not going to happen this week. And sorry for Kylie and Creative Guru that you picked this, but it will be really good. Like, I mean, if you want me to clarify anything for you, then I can do that. So group number 1, be careful. Beware what you wish for, you might get it. Group number 2, you're moving forward. Group number 3, somebody or something is not ready in the air yet, so you need to watch this, right? So yeah, it is interesting that you kind of jump to 1, and it's really talking about maybe it could be some karmic consequences of something happened in the past. Remember that the devil also can talk about parties that are exes, parties that are somehow still interfering with our lives, whether they're like directly or indirectly. They might be just below the surface. So who do we have here left? We have Gemini, we have Libra, we have Sagittarius, and we have Capricorn. So we have 2 air signs. So let's go with Libra. Libra. Let's see. Okay, that's good to hear, Creative Girl. Libra. Libra, you have 6 of Pentacles. There is the Fool. There is like 9 of Cups. And then there is like a 3 of Wands over here. So there is like a final stage of something, which is really weird because we at the same time we have the Fool, and Fool should be really more important because look at it, 6 and 3 is 9, and then we have a 9 here. And then the Fool is feeling certain things coming from the past. Fool is feeling always very positive. It's always taking that leap. It's always kind of moving forward, and heck the consequences. This little dog in the Fool card is actually representing us, the society, and all the judgment that we have. It's saying, don't go, don't jump. But the Fool is saying, I can do anything. I'm God. I can do anything. I can jump, I will survive. I don't have the gravity thing. I don't have that constraints that you're trying to do that, right? The Tree card is like about health, and this one is about health. This is very confusing, and I really feel it is addressing different aspects of your life. It's addressing also different attitudes. It almost looks to me that you want to go into something new, and in more areas than in one. But the lilies is still bringing certain things from the past. Something from the past is not resolved, and it's kind of like coming back, and it can be involving other people. It can be involving some kind of graciousness. It can be, interestingly enough, I'm reading for Libra. This is not your card, but this is only the second card in the entire deck, and they haven't even finished this painting properly. I don't know if you can see it. It's actually somehow standing up in the air, and I'm going to take it as a sign that things will quickly get out of balance over here. This is talking about generosity, whether this is yours or this is generosity from somebody else. There are some kind of resources over here, but if this is calling for you to be generous, you almost like are being demanded by the universe to do that. If this is like somebody else who is generous toward you, you need to understand that they're like just doing as much as they can, and that's all there is. Because it looks to me that there are certain processes and certain did I kick it, cycles still happening, and they're like still connecting to the past, and also connecting to your family. Maybe there's like something going on in terms of maybe they need money, or that you will ask from money from them. Now, I also feel that some of you might have the age-related health issues, which, yes, it could mean that you will be very susceptible to infections. So be very, very, very careful. I do feel you're also going to the social isolation, because here this is something that you're saying, okay, I can do it, almost like you were asked maybe to do a favor for somebody, and you will do it, but at the same time you're kind of like trying to see how this really works for you. And this is why this 3 of Wands is showing up, because this is the card of ships, and I always say friendships, relationships, partnerships, right? Lots of things are at stake, and it looks like you might kind of like either get sick or things might get in your way. This Tree card is really messing me up, especially because it's really coming together with the lilies, and both of them can talk about I mean, seriously, it can talk about impotence as well, right? But so if that's the case, that's the case, kind of like but it's also telling me there is like somebody who just really wants to do certain things solo, right? The Tree card is really talking about body, but it's also talking about ancestry, which also they have the kind of thing, and it's also talking about karma. Interestingly, the Fool is the starting process, right? So this is also the phase here where we start putting things in motion. So who is my friend? Who do I want to work with? Who do I want to sleep with? Who is my lover? Who is my boyfriend, girlfriend, right? And here we have to learn that everything in relationship and in life is kind of like this give and take. So it's almost like a little mini story over here, where here is like, okay, I got this, and I got this far, and I got it on my own, right? So it can simply mean that this is concerning growth, because this tree in this particular card is taken from this 4 of Cups, where the dude sits under the tree and he's a little bit bored, he's a little bit, what do I do, how do I go next? So it's really important kind of like to look into that way, right? So this clearly can talk about something that is happening this week. It is kind of like talking about the stable water energy, and we see this water energy over here. The Fool is this air energy. The Fool is probably feeling not constrained, because I think that Mercury retrograde was not kind to you, and that kind of like stuff were happening over here. So it feels new, and it feels fresh, and it feels new beginning. And I don't know why, it just crossed my mind the tree could simply mean spring, that you are really enjoying yourself. This card, to me, they are calling it a wish card. I don't see it this way. I really feel this is more or less like you're going to get yourself a new hair do, or makeup, or pedicure, or manicure. You're going to do things to beautify yourself, right? Or this can also mean that somebody's bestowing their generosity upon you in that respect, but it also could mean that something like that is coming to an end, and you might feel a little bit guarded or reserved about that. So be very careful not to be ungrateful, because usually you're a very grateful sign. But in any case, you're going to be sorting through things, not only through physical things. You might be doing literally spring cleaning, but you might be doing spring cleaning with people and issues in your life, and you will see what stays and what goes, and that is going to be very important for you this particular week. So then we have Gemini, Sagittarius, and Capricorn. So from this reading, what do I need to do? Well, I need to do Gemini, because Fool is connected to Uranus, which kind of rules Mercury, so that's what is leading me to. So let's do this. Gemini. Gemini 11 for Barbie. Devil is in the details. What is this? Like with all air signs, we will have to. This one wants to come out. That is your card. Remember what I say when your card shows up. And this one wants to come out. And that's not your card. So there is like soulmate-y feeling. There's like feeling of accomplishment. There's like this feeling of winning. There's like feeling of that you are choosing the right path. You're choosing the right thing. You see how difficult it is to deal with these cards. They're very thick, very hard to maneuver. And I think they spend lots of money to get a really good stock, but they have overdone it. But there it tells me that there was like some kind of stubbornness, and something that has happened recently for you guys, that you have done lots of things and nothing paid back. Nothing. And you were getting to the point of asking, WTF, what is going on? Why is this happening? Well, the time has come where you paid it forward, and now you're actually going to benefit out of it. This is actually going to be a really good feeling, and I really want you to understand that everything you have done was not in vain, that things are actually going to be helpful, and things will actually finally start moving forward and be of oh my gosh, this is so amazing. Look at that. Can you see where this card came from? You see that right here. So the Rider card is like something moving forward, somebody moving toward you. You're getting this feeling, and this is also highly phallic, as you can see. So if you guys are single, then you might find somebody who is going to have a soulmate quality. It's going to be really absolutely lovely, right? It's going to also feel that there is like a sense of stability, there is like a sense of appreciation. You're going to feel in your own element, right? You're going to feel that there's like a time to move forward. So if you don't have anybody, you will have a direction that is going to please you, that you're going to feel active. You're going to feel like that you're finishing certain things in order to have extra space or extra time to do something, or with somebody. If you're with somebody, it might feel extremely romantic this particular week, right? There's like something that is moving forward. Rider is number 1 in Lenormand, and it's, as you can see, it's also connecting. This is weird. I don't remember ever having this coming through in a reading like this, and we had it twice happening here. So this is something positive. It could be some kind of news or some information coming forward to you. I don't know if you're expecting a visitor of some sort, right? But surely enough, I mean, you're Gemini, you like, there's this exchange of energy, something is happening. It's going to be something that is like basically swift action of some sort. As I said, if you're single, this can actually be a new love interest, right? Or something that is highly flirtatious, right? But that highly flirtatious is going to lead to something deeper. Not right now. This just really, usually the writer is just the number one. It just shows this beginning. But look at this, like you have these 2 sixes, and this is extremely important. So as far as work, because you also have pentacles, you're budgeting, you're looking at it. Either maybe you're going to have a change of directive. You might also change work or change department where you work, right? Something is going to happen very quickly for you, and you will have most likely very positive answers by the end of the week. And it's going to be what you anticipated, what you hope for. So don't start doubting yourself, because it looks like you came from something that you kind of like really didn't know if this is going to bear fruits, or you doubted yourself, because doubt is going to attract doubt. So stop doubting and focus on the best possible outcome that can and might happen. And that's really, really important over here, right? So let's do that. Creative Guru says, I just got a tarot deck. It's super thick, and I have little hands, and it's so kind of, yeah, I was expecting more, and somebody commented that this is not full-size deck, and that's why I ordered it. But I don't have small hands. I have small to medium hands, and it's not the best thing. That's why I was hoping if I use it on live that things are going to get better, but they're not getting better. So the next one, let's go Sagittarius. Let's go Saggies. Saggies, what do we have for you? What is this week coming? I love the colors, and I like, the reason I ordered this deck is that it's borderless, but I also see they cut it off where they're not supposed to cut it off. Oh, look at this. You also came out for you, and this one wants to come out. I don't know, are you dealing with the Leo Sagittarius over here? Like, I mean, clearly the king is coming out over here, and the Leo is looking at you, looking for some kind of like balance, and there is like a love is in the air, and that is really also important to understand. I also feel there is a little bit of hanky-panky going on in the air. I mean, check it out, 14 and 1 is 15. This is bringing us to the Devil card. And Devil card can actually talk about something going in the background. It could be the ex or the old situations or something, but it's maybe like somebody who is born in the sign of Leo, or somebody who is very proud, or somebody who is in a position to kind of question you, that you feel that you need to account your actions of some sort, right? Because the King of Wands is really showing up over here. I like the Cosmic deck too. The Cosmic deck is very different and should be kind of interpreted differently. Wow, look at that, old ex-Leo. The fish is generally talking about work and finances, right? And it is something again from the past. And I guess maybe you also are getting this little bit of Mercury retrograde shadow over here that is really happening. Maybe the old flame is coming through, or maybe you're rekindling something. Maybe you're feeling watched. The fish generally talks about weird things, either, you know, throw this fish back, or circulating, or self-employed people, or necessarily somebody who is next to the sea. It can really talk about that as well, right? This can also talk about health issues related to aging and relating to sexuality over here, which can talk to lilies as well. But lilies can also talk about lots of sex, which actually I feel more along these lines. If I really have to pick something, that probably would be kind of like where the direction I would take, right? So interestingly enough, that, you know, when we have the fish, it's a very positive energy, and money is flowing, finances are flowing, and like in your own card you have like this temperance that has this kind of like flow as well. So I really think that this next card is really showing what is coming in the situation. So something is going to raise from the dead, some old issues that maybe you think it was buried. It could be related to relationship. It could be buried. It could be that you're already reaping the fruits of something, but it's going to kind of like ask for the situation to look back. But keep in mind, this all can just talk about, I mean, I'm seeing lots of water here. Water, 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 and here I'm seeing the ice, and ice is also a form of water. So something that was flowing is freezing. And it's really interesting that it's freezing all the while we have this fire, the King of Wands, sitting over here, right? So somebody's putting you on notice, or you are putting somebody on notice, right? Because this is really interesting. And I never seen this as a sun. First of all, it's very kind of like oval. To me, it might be more or less like volcano, or some star, or something happening to you, your angels, other things coming into play over here. That's kind of like more that I see. There's like all these beautiful irises as well. Interestingly enough, it's just like the star card. He is having 1 foot on the ground, 1 foot in the water, except in the star, she is also walking on the water, and he is merging the elements continuously. So it could be that, you know, there's going to be some kind of like switch talking, or that somebody's going to accuse you of sweet talking and trying to wiggle out of the situation. So be very careful. If you guys are self-employed, maybe this is simply telling you that you will revisit some old opportunities that maybe you have put on the back shelf, and that is going to feel it's the right time, it's the right place to move them forward, right? So who was left behind today as the last is Capricorn, and then we're going to do a pick a card after that as well. Can we have another door question? We will have it last. Let's finish the Capricorn, and then we'll have a pick a door. So Capricorns. It's so hard. I want to get these reversals, and I literally have to pick them and put them in. So hopefully they're going to soften, but they'll only soften if I work a lot with them, and that's not usually what's going to happen. Okay, Capricorn. Come on, guys. I don't have 12 likes. Did anybody forget to like me? I hope you like me. Ooh, we have the Strength reverse. This is about commitment, or this could be somebody explosive. This could be somebody angry, or it could be somebody passive aggressive that you have in your life. You might be dealing with a Leo. You might be dealing with Virgo or fire, or and the devil. That's you guys. So actually, it's not as bad when your card shows up here. Look at how vivid the devil card is over here. So 22. And 22 is this numerological strong number. I really feel you guys are maybe getting out of some kind of commitments in order to build something. There's like something that has been dragging you down. And I really think this is you who are rejecting somebody or something. And you're saying that something was in a way, maybe something was drained on you, maybe the person was leading you astray, or simply the person was not in sync with you, with how you think and what you want to do, and hence you actually need to move in a different direction. The devil, just like the Lovers, is the card of choice, except here you feel stuck. But since this is representing you, this doesn't possibly apply over here. Also, if we add all of them together, right? So this is coming to 30, which is really talking about a very feminine energy and very nurturing energy. So whether or not you're a man or a woman, this is the divine feminine. It's kind of understanding who is important. Maybe you'll be dealing with exes, maybe you'll be dealing with kids in this time frame, and maybe that's going to be very, very important to kind of like look into that. So, there is a Cappy Sun over here. So we have, yeah, as I said, the child, and the stork is somebody pregnant of some sort. The stork can also talk about moving residence. This is kind of where we have this theme from a 10 of Cups over here, this rainbow over here. The stork can also talk about messaging, right? And some messaging that could be about some family changing a form, changing situation. It's usually very positive. This also can tell me there is like a time for promotion, and hence relocation, or it could be renovation of some sort, and it can be literal renovation of the house, or it can be renovation, repair in terms of how you deal with things and how you go, right? So this is really impeding change, and there's like no other way of looking at it, right? So it is really important for you to understand that maybe you're going to feel a little guilty, and that's why the child is showing here, and that can talk about a little bit of immaturity. Maybe you're going in the next stages of relationship and you're needing to make a change, right? So if no relationship exists, then maybe you need to look into other things. But also we have the child, and child shows up, well, yeah, it's something immature, but it also can talk about that something has been brewing and something is not in a sense established, right? But this can talk about the new things and trusting yourself and trusting that you're going in a new direction. So it's really, really important. This can also talk about if you're single, maybe you have left something that was committal or commitment, or whoever left is kind of like now moving forward in something new, and you might be dealing with a person who has a child, and it could be a new relationship. But usually when I see something like that, if this is a new relationship, it's going to be with someone that you know for a while. So it could be even the person who you know from work, or somebody who is a little bit childlike, or somebody who is like younger than you, and that all kind of like really shows over here. So we are going to see that their landlord put new windows in the house we're renting. Awesome. So that's something new and something fresh, and windows has such a significance of a new beginning. And if that's basically done to your house, then you have to look into Creative Guru is asking a question. She said, renovations, our landlord just put the new windows in the house we're renting, and she's Capricorn, so it's very relevant to this reading. So the windows are windows to the soul. You need to find, or you can tell me what is the either apartment number or house number. Both of them will be relevant because it was the whole house, but then it will be two different messages for you particularly and for the house. And then you can see what is the vibration that want to be, and that's going to be very, very prominent in the upcoming year because it's just like freshly done. So I know I have to wait until she answers because you guys are a little bit behind me. For me, I feel like a child. It's about going back to my dreams, about relationships, having it all. Yeah, I feel this way. And also the card, the devil that came upright, it means that you are feeling your element. You're feeling in control. It's going to be very important. So, okay, you're giving me here. 7 is the number of the building, of the house. So this is adding to 16, isn't it? 14, 16. 1 and 6 is 7. So 7 is generally the number that is feeling a little bit analytical. It doesn't necessarily want too many people in or out. It's not the number where you will feel that you have lots of visitors. Generally, I connect this number with lots of white things at home, and I bet the windows are white. Mind you, they're technically, most of them are white, even though now they're very popular to be black in Canada. And so the vibrations, and you also have every single vibration. You have 2 7s, you have a 0. This is the Fool, you have the Chariot, you have the High Priestess. It's going to start feeling very sensual, very spiritual, and you will feel maybe a little bit introverted, and you need to be aware of that. 7s tend to just be to themselves and not to care much about anybody else and just spend time reading. So if you want to be social, maybe you need to put something on your door, right? So it depends what you want. You can contact me and I can tell you about that. So Barbie is saying, let's do the doors again. So let me hide this for you here. So let's do the doors. Let me shuffle. And wait a minute, I have to go back to see what is the timeline so I can put this on. Doors. Oops, no, I put that in a Capricorn, so I don't have the Capricorn over here, so we'll have to guess when Capricorn was, but it's not going to be that difficult. So let me shuffle. Oh my gosh, I got 25 cards jumping out, so now I'm taking this all out. So the first card is out, the door, left door, so the door number 1 is out. And the door number 2 is out. And again, I have lots of cards flicking. I just need one. And door number 3, they are white, and I'm really focusing on myself and putting myself first. And be given in a relationship to the point of being not good for me. Yes. Sometimes when you're a giver, people take you as a doormat, and I had to experience, unfortunately, the same myself. You just never win. If you're not a giver, you're being accused to be selfish. And so you just really have to find a happy medium that you really know that what you're doing. So here we guys go. We have, you're welcome. We have the door number 1 who picked it up, and please like it. Please just click on like, and so that I know that you are like, your heartbeat is over there. Queen of Rods. So this is about some kind of action. The questions were, what do I do? And should I proceed with this? Is this going to happen? And the answer is yes. Queen of Rods can sometimes rule legal system as well. So she is definitely affirming that things will move forward. And she's having this sunflower. So she's saying like, you need to follow the power. And so you will be very powerful at the same time. You'll be able to make a difference, but you also need to understand with this big sunflower that there will be maybe forces that are stronger than you. So that especially comes, let's say, if the question is about the work. But if it's about relationship, then it might be a new person that is coming through that's going to be very interested in you. Okay, so well, Kylie, you'll be able to really give her hints for the 7. It's a very spiritual path, but it can be very lonely. So number 2 is 9 of Pentacles. Something financial, something, somebody needs to treat themselves. The answer is yes, but you might also change this question. I really have to tell you this. You might feel, never mind. Check this out. They put the 9 here. I didn't actually notice this before instead of here. What an interesting concept that looks weird. It looks out of balance. And I'm all I can see is that. Heck, there is a falcon over here. There is like, I don't know, is it a tree? Must be a tree of some sort that the falcon is sitting on. She has the grape. She has the ring. She has this understanding of her own powers. This is also very sensual in nature, and as I said, to me generally this is about pampering, and you might actually decide, let's put this wish on a back burner. I need to pamper myself. So that's kind of like how it looks. And the door number 3, we have a Knight of Swords reversed. Whoa, look at here. We have the Tower burning in this card, and we have almost like that looks like a blood on the first kind of like look, but then we look and we realize maybe this is just a reflection of a tower. Be very careful about the question that you have asked, because at this stage this can look that it can go in a situation that can be highly argumentative, and that somebody is really not receptive, especially if this question involved another person. I would simply not even think or go in that direction for the entire week, because that's what's happening. This Knight of Swords is somebody who feels they are know-it-all. They will shred you in pieces, and this is a guy, where is my little thing? This is a guy who is generally having bad temperament, but is also in a bad mood. So, you know, it's kind of like you're hoping for this, somebody's going to do this, and you're only getting this. So you need to understand this, that just by asking innocent question, you might be stepping on somebody's toe. It's just stepping in a minefield. So do not go there. So it is exactly yikes. So thank you so much, guys, for joining. Thank you for your likes. If you haven't done it, please spend a second to do that. I'm going to play a little bit of music for the end so we can say bye-bye to each other. And I'm looking forward to seeing you the next week. It's going to be 21st. It's going to be a huge shift. Jupiter is going Saturn is going in Aquarius, and it's going to be monumental shift. So you Capricorns that you are still here, you have the rain for the next week. So I would, if I were you, not sleep. I would just be pedaling to get everything done, especially when it comes to stuff, because then it's going to feel like that somebody pulled a rug on your feet, because Saturn is leaving your sign, and Saturn rules both Capricorn and Aquarius, but in a completely different way. So things are going to get a little bit wobbly. So let me see. Kylie asked if old ex-Leo will reach out and contact me, ties with your Leo reading. You're welcome, Kylie. It was so nice to see you. I know it's very late in Australia at this stage, so let me find some music that we can play for the end, and I wish you all a beautiful and a wonderful week. So all the best, guys. Love you. Let me see if I can